Hello YouTube, this is Necrostevo and you're watching one of my narrated Wi-Fi battles. This is a battle I had against Shyn or Shyn from the Small Gun Wi-Fi battler. Wi-Fi, what? Yeah. I can't talk. It doesn't matter. We're going to do this. Powering through. This is actually an OU match. As usual, I kind of brought, you know me, I always bring that one thing that's not OU, and this time it was Cinchino. I was actually trying out a team concept where I was just going to throw a bunch of things together that had no real good, they kind of have synergy, but it's hyper offensive at the same time. It doesn't really have that very good a synergy. But anyways, though, I start off with Scarf Genesect. I got the special attack boost, which made me thinking maybe he's a weird bulky set, but he just has Scarf as well. And since Jirachi is base 100 speed and I'm base 99 speed, he does outspeed me, even though this Genesect has like a 24 speed IV. So all that software setting did not help. Anyways, though, I knowing that he's locked in on that move, go out into my Heatran, and I could have set up my rocks, but I really just wanted to burn him or burn something, so I went for the Lava Plume, praying to just burn something, and I actually get the burn on Nidoking, so that's kind of nice. Here, the Earth Power was painfully obvious, so I actually stayed in expecting him to overpredict, and that didn't work out too well. So I lose Heatran, but that was kind of a gamble right there. And you don't normally see me making that type of play early on in the game, but on the Wi-Fi Battle Finder, I tend to do things like that to kind of gauge the skill of my opponent. And it was interesting throughout the whole battle. My opponent was typing in French, and then I would take what he or she said and plug it into Google Translate to see what she said or he said, and then I would put my words into Google Translate, put them in French, and then type them back in the Wi-Fi Battle Finder because that individual's English wasn't particularly good. So yay for Google Translate bridging the gap. Anyways, though, I went on into Salamence on after he KO'd my Heatran. I just went for the Dragon Dance, knowing that he probably had the Scarf Ice Punch. I knew my Yache Bear would allow me to live it, and I could have gone for another Dragon Dance, but I didn't want to get too greedy for one. But for two, I really thought that I would kill it. But it actually lives on 2 HP, I think, is what my opponent said. And that's unfortunate because now I cannot live another Ice Punch. I almost said Dragon Punch for some reason. I've been watching too many streams of Marvel vs. Capcom and Street Fighter. Anyways, though, obvious Ice Punch is obvious, so I go into Scizor to take it. I love using Metal Coat on Scizor because it allows me to switch up my moves. You'll see that a little bit later on in the match, while still being able to bluff a little bit of the power of Choice Bandit Scizor as far as Bullet Punch goes, because you still end up using Bullet Punch most of the time. And sometimes you just really need to Pursuit Trap something. But anyways, though, I U-turn expecting him to switch, and I catch the Latias on the way in. I go on into Choice Bandit Cinchino. I figured that I could kill it with a U-turn, but once again, he just barely holds on. Of course, him living that move kind of makes me figure that he's more of a physically defensive set, which are pretty common as far as Latias goes. They run Calm Mind quite often, and a lot of times they often run dual screens as well. So that didn't surprise me, but I was hoping Cinchino could hit a little bit harder than that, being Choice Bandit and all. Um, After he sets up the Wish, I was expecting him to switch to try to send it to Jirachi. So I just tried to Pursuit so I could kill this thing. But he ends up just staying in, and now I was like 90% sure that he was going to switch out now. And so I just switched up my moves and went for the U-turn, hoping that I could catch something and hit it pretty hard on the switch in. And I catch Nidoking, which it seems like he was just death foddering that anyway, because even if I had gone for the Bullet Punch, it would have killed it. So that's not too bad. At least I don't have to worry about something that powerful running around on my team anymore. Now I wanted to send in something that could keep momentum on my side of the field, so I sent in a fast Pokemon. That's generally what people do when there's a blind switch like that. And he sends in Cloyster. For some reason, I thought Choice Bandit Cinchino would be able to KO Cloyster, but that's forgetting its whopping sheer defense prowess. And I get really close, which is impressive with Stealth Rocks up. That actually would have likely killed. Um, so Cinchino really, really needs Stealth Rock and Spike support in order to get any KOs. I don't even think it can KO Terrakion with Stealth Rock damage with Bullet Seed. So it really needs support. Unfortunately, I don't want anything else on my team to take a +2 Icicle Spear. So I left in Cinccino to die right here just so I can bring in Scizor and finish it off with a Bullet Punch. Uh, I didn't want to sacrifice it because I've been playing around with Cinccino a lot. Yes, I run the damage calcs, but I tend to remember how much damage a Pokemon can do after I see it in action. Um, so that's kind of why I've been bringing it to OU, bringing it to RU, bringing it to UU, trying to see what it can do. Kind of like how you guys saw how much I used Amoonguss for a little while there, because I wanted to see how well it could take hits, and I was pleasantly surprised that one of my favorite Pokemon in 5th Gen could take hits so well. Once again, we see as Latias barely living the U-turn. I think it's got to be max HP, max defense, because that time it was coming from Scizor, not even from Cinccino that time. So I just send in Salamence to either force him into attacking me or switching out, or here I actually predicted that he had the Protect, and so I just went for the Protect because, I mean, I saw that he had the Protect earlier in the match. I knew he was going to want his Wish, so I just went for Dragon Dance, knowing that that might be a little bit of a risky play in case he just decides to outright attack me, or switch into something else. But now I can at least take out this Latias and hopefully one other Pokemon, assuming I don't miss any attacks. He goes for the double protect there, probably just trying to get a little bit of HP back to get to a point where he'll be able to live the Dragon Claw, because I'm not running Outrage. I have like four or five different Salamence. One has Hydro Pump, one has Fire Blast, and Draco Meteor. This one right here just has Dragon Dance, Dragon Claw, Earthquake, and Fire Blast. And so here I predicted her to overpredict. I don't know why I keep changing the gender of my opponent. Don't ask me. But we both actually overpredict, and I miss my Fire Blast, and she misses her Earthquake because I dodge it, obviously. It seems like she predicted me to go into Scizor right there. Unfortunately, I was not able to capitalize on me predicting her to overpredict, but that's what it is. Fortunately, I still have Scizor left, a Metal Coat, Adamant, Max Attack, Bullet Punch is going to be able to easily clean out any Abomasnow that is not bulky, even without Stealth Rock damage. Um, and I think at this point that leaves us both with two Pokemon left. Her with her Hitmontop, and I think her minuscule HP Jirachi, and myself with my Starmie and my Scizor. So here I just left in Scizor to see what she was going to do. The Intimidate, of course, cut my attack, but I really wanted to see what attack she was going to lead off with against Scizor. Then expecting maybe Mach Punch or Close Combat, go out into Starmie, um, and I was just going to see here if she had the Sucker Punch by switching back into Scizor. But interestingly, my opponent fled here at this point, I think, which I thought was odd. After the special defense drop, I actually probably had a decent chance of KOing with a Life Orb Hydro Pump. And then even if that didn't KO whatever damage I did do, Scizor could likely just come in and Bullet Punch that for the kill and then finish off Jirachi. So that may have been my game, but had I missed the Hydro Pump, then maybe it would have been back up in the air again. Either way, I enjoyed that match. Shyn or Shyn, if you're watching this, whether you're a boy or a girl, since I kept changing your gender, feel free to let me know if you have a channel, because kind of got disconnected there a little bit abruptly. But in my book, that battle was a draw because my opponent forfeited. When the battle was still a 50-50 in my opinion. But I hope you all enjoyed the match. I'm actually just getting back from going to school. None of the conventional sense I'm actually a substitute teacher, or I'm not a substitute teacher. I am substituting for several teachers here in my community. So I just got back from my little brother's high school substituting for psychology and social studies, and I think that's it. But that's something to do. And I have a few kind of small cases that I'm working on for some people. Still looking for a job though, so thank you all for enjoying my content and enjoying my, well, I don't know if you enjoy them, but for listening to my little rants at the end of these videos. And I hope you all enjoy the little random pictures I throw up as they entertain me. Hopefully they entertain you as well.